Virtualization is a method that allows us to run multiple virtual machines on a single server. Virtualization has brought about the means to cut some cost in data centers by reducing the amount of physical servers needed to run various services. This has saved on hardware cost and energy costs since not as many physical servers are needed and less energy is required to cool server rooms. Each virtual machine is known as a guest system. The server system that runs all of the guest systems is known as the host server. The software that this host server runs is known as a hypervisor. There are a lot of hypervisor software systems on the market today, such as VMware and Microsoft's Hyper-V. There are two main ways that virtualization is done. The first is known as full virtualization. Full virtualization utilizes features from the CPU of the host system, and the guest system is unaware that it is a virtual machine. The guest system is configured as if it is on a bare metal system. The other method is known as para-virtualization. Para-virtualization requires software modifications to the guest system, usually in the form of network and hard disk drivers. Since there are other drivers involved that help the guest communicate better with the host, the guest system is aware that it is a virtual machine. However, with the additional drivers, para-virtualization often provides better performance. Red Hat Enterprise Linux 6 utilizes KVM, or the kernel-based virtual machine, as a hypervisor software stack. KVM is the open-source software platform that offers full virtualization out of the box. Through the use of a set of drivers developed specifically for KVM, known as the VirtIO drivers, KVM can also be used as a para-virtualization hypervisor. In order to run KVM on your host system, your CPU must be either an AMD 64 or Intel 64 class processor. KVM supports both Microsoft Windows and Linux guests from many distributions. On a KVM system, each virtual machine is treated as a single process. There are multiple tools available to manage a guest on a KVM system. The first that we will discuss in a later video is the Virsh command line toolset. There is also a graphical toolset called Virt Manager. Both Virsh and Virt Manager are front ends to the libvirt system, which is the set of libraries that KVM uses on a host system. There are a lot of other Virt tools available, but they are not covered on the RHCSA exam. I've listed a few here. Feel free to install these and use them on your own. In order to use KVM on your system, you must first make sure that you have a 64-bit processor, as stated earlier, and that your processor has the appropriate CPU flags to support virtualization. Run the command shown here to see if your CPU qualifies. If you get output after you run the command that includes either VMX or SVM, your system is good to go to run KVM. If you don't get any output, then you will need to try another system. To install KVM on your RHEL system, it's easier to just do a full group install to get all of the necessary packages. Once you get the packages installed, make sure to enable the libvirtd service and have it started prior to working with any guest systems. A KVM guest consists of two main components. First, you have the guest XML file, which contains hardware assignments such as how much RAM the guest will use, how many virtual CPUs it has, where the virtual hard disk image files are located, and lots of other information. The second component is the hard disk image file themselves. These will be formatted in either RAW or pre-allocator formats or the QCal file format. Both image files will end in the .img file extension. We will discuss the differences between these two file formats in a later video. The XML files are located in etc, libvirt, qemu, and then the name of the guest followed by .xml. The hard disk image files are located under var, lib, libvirt images. Be sure to check the security context of these files, as SE Linux does play a role in virtualization. To learn more about virtualization in RHEL 6, I recommend that you look at the official documentation located at the URL listed below, and take a look at the man pages for the commands that we will cover shortly.